Yuna wakes up and does her daily bear aerobics and changes her suit inside out, with her clothes cleaning themselves. That morning, Yuna brings in multiple monsters for Fina to harvest, but Gins tells her it's a bit too much for the girl. Fina explains that she wants to take her time, not making any mistakes for her. Yuna finds her so adorable for working so hard. At the guild, people take turns, with there being a lot of harvest. The rest of the adventurers start to whisper about her quest, saying bears are at the top of the food chain. Miss Helen talks to Yuna in private, asking her to hold off on questing in the area, with the area that she's questing at being for new adventurers. Yuna reminds her that she's also new, but Helen reminds her that most new adventurers can't defeat 40 wolves in one sitting. Yuna is dazed, with her morning plans being taken away. Just then, a dark blonde-haired adventurer comes to confront her for punching Mr. Deberane. Yuna is detached, suggesting he's talking about someone else. Her face lights up after hearing Deberane, but doesn't remember anyone by that name. The boy is furious, reminding her, with her remembering, she did punch a half-goblin dude the other day. Gil stops him, with Lorena introducing themselves. Lorena explains they're actually in a party with Mr. Deberane. Yuna interrupts her, saying that they must be hunting goblins, and she must have took their prey away from them, known as Deberane, making Lance very mad. Lorena and Gil are not bothered by her punching Deberane, seeing that he started the entire mess, also mentioning the man can have his adventurer's license revolt by starting that fight, with both of them saying it's his own fault. Yuna gets up to leave, with Miss Helen walking over, inquiring about their latest quest, with the party unable to complete it without the help of Deberane, with him being their tank and the person that protects Lorena. Failing the quest will hurt their rating and also hurt their chances of getting future quests. Yuna has a feeling about where this is going and tries to leave, with Miss Helen seeing her, asking if Yuna can join their party. Yuna makes it clear that she doesn't plan to do anything with Deberane after this though. Lorena is fine with that, but insists that her party fight with her. Yuna finds the girl to be way too sensible to be teaming up with the rest of the boys. Yuna refuses to not call any goblin any name other than Deberane, tricking the girl like a Bugs Bunny cartoon, and making the girl reference Deberane as a goblin. Realizing how far the journey is, Yuna gives Lorena a twisted look, scaring her, to only picking her up and moving at very high speeds, taking her to the goblin lair. Yuna detects that there's not 50 goblins in there, but 100 of them. Yuna uses her air cutter to defeat the goblins on the outside, then goes inside to suffocate the rest of them by lighting a fire and then cutting off their oxygen. Lorena is confused but trusts her, and Lorena starts to harvest the rest of the goblins, while Yuna watches, wondering if she's going to help. But Yuna informs her that she's new at this and doesn't know how to harvest, with the two pausing for a second. Lorena looks at her and tells her it's always good to learn, but Yuna smiles at her, telling her that she's not interested, with Yuna now being glad that she brought the girl, so she can do all the harvesting by herself. Inside, one of the goblins actually managed to survive, this being the Goblin King. King is able to deflect her air cutter attacks, and Yuna dodges his slashes, and then uses her bear cutter to then trap the king underneath them to finish him off, sending in multiple bear cutters, now storing the body in her bear pouch, and taking away his sword. Lorena goes further into the cave, with Yuna staying back. She turns to ask if she's going to help her harvest all these goblins, seeing that there's about 100 goblins in there. Yuna is unwavering, not wanting to harvest. Lorena reminds her how long it would take her to harvest all the bodies, but Yuna simply just tells her no, she's not helping. When the girl comes back out, she's stupefied to see a bear inside of a bear house, with Yuna taking a nap in a bed. Lorena is furious, banging the glass for her to wake up. When Yuna wakes up, she looks at the girl and goes back to sleep. Lorena is distraught, not knowing what to think about her. With Yuna making a house while she was working her butt off, harvesting, Yuna internalizes that this house was probably not one of her best works, canceling it. Yuna asks if the girl's tired, with Lorena wanting to take a break. Yuna turns to her with a very twisted smile, saying she can rest while they're running, with the Yuna picking her up and running at high speeds, taking back the body of the Goblin King. When she goes to leave, she's stunned to see the rest of the party members thanking her, with Lance apologizing. Yuna finds it very unexpected, but likes it. Afterwards, she uses her summoning bears for the first time, being Kuma Yuru. The adorable bear can only say Kuma, and the rider is unable to fall off. The bear is also able to knock out a monster with one single punch. Kuma Kuyu is second, with the bear sulking that it wasn't picked first. Fina is introduced to them, and they begin their daily harvest. When it's over, Yuna starts a business, trying to buy some land in the merchant district. They meet Maylene, being the guild master of the trade guild, and being the first one not to give Yuna a weird look. Yuna wants to make a house close to where Fina lives. Seeing that Yuna is a new up-and-coming adventurer that brings in a lot of material, Maylene gives her a discount, coming clean, stating that many people want to get very close to her, with her being one of those people. On the land, Yuna thinks of all the things that they need inside the house, creating the house in the image of a bear. On the day Yuna defeats the Black Viper, many adventurers come out very shocked to see her latest triumph. Gintz is in charge of the harvesting of the creature, directing people on how to harvest it and where to cut. Fina is grateful how her new life has turned around. Inside her house, Yuna is creating appliances, with children talking outside, staring at the house. Hearing that the bloody bear lives here, Yuna comes out to scare them off. With Fina arriving, Fina comes back to give Yuna the Viper's mana gem. Yuna sees a wound on Fina's arm and decides to try using some healing magic. By focusing on the wound and pouring magic, she's able to heal it. Yuna then gives her the day off. Before Fina leaves, she informs that Miss Helen wants to see her, the Adventurers Guild. Yuna is worried that she's gonna make her do something, finding it very annoying. The next day, Yuna is trying to storm out of the Adventurers Guild, with the Guildmaster walking in, wanting to know what the commotion's all about. With Yuna receiving a personal request from a noble, Yuna's expressions completely changes, detailing the personality of nobles and their twisted desires, acting more like criminals who are nothing more than womanizers, hating these filthy rich people. The Guildmaster tells her she's correct, but this noble will be different. Lord Focheros cares about his people, informing her that she can refuse, but she might want to rethink about this and consider moving if she does. Back at Fina's house, both her and her sister are worried about their mother being very sick, with Fina leaving to go get some herbs. Yuna arrives to see the Lord of Cremonia. Lord Cliff skips the formalities to praise her work as an adventurer, detailing his daughter constantly talking about a cute adventurer dressing as a bear. Just then, Nora barges in, wanting to meet her. The little girl is enamored by Yuna, asking to hug her. Yuna feels like she's gained another little sister. The two girls talk about Yuna's adventures and tell stories. Nora is sincere, asking if she can pet her bears, and Yuna lets her ride them, which worries the maid, Lala. Yuna is skeptical, asking Lord Cliff why he's so trusting of her. The Lord informs her he took every precaution in the reports of her and the bears, to then ask her, can he ride the bears? Confusing her, but she does allow it. Lord Cliff reminds Yuna that their king is having a birthday party, with the girl not caring. He wants to give him an extravagant gift. Cliff wants to also buy the mana gem from the Black Viper, but Yuna turns him down. She sees that he really wants to get him a gift, so she gives him her sword of the Goblin King. The sword is a rare item, the Lord telling her that it's an item so rare because it doesn't have a price. This being because goblins don't have swords as high quality as this one. Hearing this, Yuna just can't simply give him the sword for free. So, she tells the Lord that he owes her a favor now. Lord Cliff agrees to do so as long as it's in his power. Yuna leaves, promising to visit later. Fina waits for Yuna at the house, in the rain, crying because her mother's in a very bad condition and it's gotten worse. At their home, their mother is heavily breathing and looks very gray. Gintz arrives too, having ran all across the town. Yuna puts her paws together, offers to heal her. The magic is able to make her conscious again, but her disease is still there. Their mother, Tiramina, wakes up, hugging her children for the last time. Yuna is despairing, seeing them cry. Yuna tries to heal her again, but the illness is still there. Tiramina thanks Yuna for letting her see her daughters again. Yuna yells, saying she won't give up. Yuna starts to think about her magic and how exactly does it work, imagining how she can fix it, with her just needing to find the cause to fix it. Once she tries again, she's able to remove the illness, using a purple glow, with it surrounding her, able to remove the cause. Tiramina is able to get up, and they all embrace her. Yuna informs her to make sure to eat very good meals and get plenty of rest and not to get up out of bed. Shuri scowls at Yuna, having not met her before, wanting to know why she's dressed like a bear. Yuna calls Fina a friend. With this shocking Fina, Shuri hugs her. Gintz interrupts them, asking Yuna exactly the cost Tiramina's treatment, willing to pay for it, and if not, work for it if it's not enough. Tiramina interrupts him, saying she can't trouble him anymore and she'll work for it when she's able to work again. Fina then interrupts, willing to work for it herself. Yuna is shocked, wondering what happened and when did she turn into a cartoon's villain. Yuna stops them, telling her that she did this because her friend was in need. Soon later, the mother is able to move again, and Yuna reminds them that they need to also eat very well, mentioning eggs would be perfect right now, with the mother-daughter combo loving the taste of eggs. Yuna thinks for a second about how she can get more eggs more often. She notices that she has a bear transferring gate that lets her teleport to places she's already been before, so she goes to Kai's village, purchase some eggs, warning him that she'll be back later. Kai reminds her that she saved his village and they're not willing to charge her. Yuna gives him a very annoyed look, saying that was then and this is a business transaction, and she plans to do it very properly. Yuna puts her gate into place, this being inside of a cave that both monsters and humans avoid. Yuna comes back to pay Fina, noticing that her harvest technique has improved. Fina says that she can't accept this, with eggs being very expensive in the world's economy. Yuna explains that they're actually very cheap if she's purchasing it directly from the source, with it being expensive because of the tax trade. She takes Fina to the gate, as well as asking if the magic is common here, with Yuna being the only person in the world it would use this type of magic. Yuna laughs at this, to then be extremely serious, telling Fina she can't tell anyone this, ever. While Yuna is purchasing her lunch, she spots some children covered in dirt. The shop owner tells them that they're from the orphanage, and they're hoping to eat some of people's leftovers. Yuna asks if there's a system here in place to take care of the children, with the woman telling her there is, but they must be doing very bad right now. Yuna orders 30 kebabs, but the woman warns her that how will she be able to pay for them tomorrow and the next day after that, telling her not to feed them. Yuna feeds them and asks to see their shelter. The director tells them the lord of their town cut off their supply about a month ago, with this news angering Yuna, thinking about Lord Cliff. Yuna does what she can to rebuild the building and supply the children with meat. The children and the caretakers thank her for her deeds. Since then, Yuna goes out collecting wolves' meat to feed the children extra. The director asked why she's doing this for people she doesn't know, with Yuna saying that she doesn't want to see children suffer. Yuna jokes how she'll file a complaint with the Lord, but the director asked her not to do so, since he's already helped them so much, already letting them live on this land. Yuna's very sad that she can't help them any more than this, but knowing that she can't do this forever as well, Fina tells Yuna that her mother is able to work now, and thanking her for the eggs. This gives Yuna an idea, so she goes to Milan to buy some more land, then travels to Kai's village to get more eggs and some chickens. Yuna makes a chicken cage and hires Chermine and the children to take care of them. This way the orphanage can make money, but they have to hurry and also learn how to raise the chickens, so they're able to manage more of them. This way the cost of eggs can go down in the country, and the orphanage won't be targeted by thieves. The children are willing to work, agreeing to do so as long as the directors won't cry anymore, with Tirmane wondering why she's their boss, this being because Yuna doesn't want to manage it. Over time, the children manage to handle all the chickens, and Tirmane gets more accustomed to her job at negotiations and handling the money. Lord Cliff comes to talk to Yuna, with her making eggs more profitable and affordable, being in high demand in the country, but her refusing to sell them to Lord Cliff. Cliff wants an explanation, asking why. Yuna is angered by this, with him still not knowing what he did, with her saying that the orphanage produced these eggs, then calling the man very selfish for not giving them any money, just because they don't produce any profits, and how the children and adults had to beg for funds, with the children of this town being so nice and resilient, thinking that this was because of him, with her crying and being very angry at the man. Cliff wants her to believe him that he didn't know, but he excuses himself to go confirm some business. At his mansion, Cliff and his butler Rondo learn the documents have been tampered with, and a noble by the name of Ines Roland has been embezzling money from the orphanage and other businesses in the town. Roland has also been bribing some officials. Cliff learns what the man has been doing, understanding now Yuna's anger. At his office, Roland tries to play coy, even when he's confronted with the evidence. When the matter is finished, he goes to apologize to the director, with the man bowing in front of them for his incompetence, with him intending to pay off the funds going forward, but the director turns down his offer, with him no longer needing his assistance, being very hopeful for the future. Yuna blushes, with the man apologizing to her, with her feeling stupid that she acted like a child. So this is where we're going to leave off in today's video, and if you liked today's video, here's another one just like it, so go check it out, and I'll be breaking down this anime into multiple parts. Now if you liked today's video, why not subscribe? I'll be uploading daily videos just like this one, so I'll see you next time.